You're listening to Three's a Crowd, the North East Footy Podcast, with Rye for Borough, Steve for Newcastle United, and Ted for Sunderland.
I don't like cricket. Oh no. I love it. Oh yes. Good morning, everybody, in this beautiful world of ours. It is your resident Australian, Rye, joining you off the eve of a big Ashes victory. To my beautiful left, I have got Ted the Mackham. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, sunshine. Well, yeah, good morning's a bit of a stretch, isn't it? But
it is when you wake up to a rude head result, isn't it? Hey, a rude head. And Stevie Wraith, good morning to you, good sir.
Morning, mate. I hate cricket.
That we all do. But wait, we've got to kick things off. You've got a fantastic story of a Sunderland fan.
Yes, I bumped into a Sunderland fan this week. He watches the show. Good morning, Chris. Chris, I hope you're well, son. Chris is a big Sunderland fan. He watches the show and he's a big fan of it, loves it. And he asked us to give him a shout out today. I did say that I would mention the embarrassing line that he delivered to me, though, when he tried to gain advantage as I was walking away from him. He said, "Mind the step." Now, I think what he meant to say was,
"Oh no,
mind the gap." So I said, "Do you not mean mind the gap?" And he went, "Oh yeah, that's what I mean." So yeah, very good, Chris. But anyway, I said I'll give you a shout out, mate. I hope you're well.
Thank you, Chris, for always tuning in. It's good to see. Ted's got that, that fan base growing every day, which is hard with his mug, because it was better when we're on radio. Trust me about that. Teddy boy,
we're growing slowly, like a fungus.
Mate, to tell you what, the Premier League table result helps. I tell you, but lads, football's back. Can we do it? Oh my God, club football is here. It's here to stay, lads. We have not got an international break now, thanks till March. Oh my goodness, thank you. All of my lads returned to the Borough without injuries, thank goodness. It does look like a couple got a virus. It does look like we've only got AFCON now, really, and that doesn't really affect us down in Middlesbrough. It doesn't affect you too much, Steve, I don't think, but it might be affecting
just Wisser, who I've got no idea who Wisser is, but apparently he's going to AFCON.
True. Yep, there's that.
Democratic Republic of Congo.
Yeah. I don't even think Wisser exists. I think Wisser's an AI creation.
It's Mrs. Mannering.
I think he'll be a good player when he gets back next year or whatever it's going to be. But honestly, he's doing better than Isak. It can't be, and Isak's actually playing, so it's not that hard. Lads, welcome into Three's a Crowd podcast, the only podcast where we talk Middlesbrough, Sunderland, and Newcastle, three teams that are rivals, that we have a bit of banter. We bring each one of us together every weekend. I hope you're fantastic. Make sure you like and subscribe, guys, to the channel. And obviously the podcast is growing like crazy. We're also going to be uploading to Spotify. You can search for it under NUFC Matters or at Three's a Crowd now as well. For those that have been requesting in the comments of it being on an audio, it will be uploaded straight after the show. Let's kick into it, lads. We got a massive day. We have got Middlesbrough away to Oxford. We have got Sunderland going down to Fulham, and we have got Newcastle in the later kickoff at home to Man City. It's going to be a massive day of football, lads, and I cannot wait. Middlesbrough will be going without a manager, Adi Vivesh, or Adi Vivesh, I have been told to pronounce. I do apologise. I've been butchering his name. Will be taking the reins again for Middlesbrough today. We haven't had a manager appointment. It does look like Kim Hellberg, the Swedish manager, will be appointed in the next coming days, but Middlesbrough will be with Adi Vivesh today, lads. And it's going to be a tough old trip down to Oxford. Let's kick it off with the Middlesbrough game, because I'm excited by it, but it's a tough one for me because obviously still no manager. And one thing that I want to move on from it, and I think I will, and I needed some closure, lads, but I want to know what your feelings are when you watch an ex-manager at his new club. But today I sat down and I watched Rob Edwards' press conference at Wolves, and I threw up 3 times because it was the same BS. Do you know what I mean? And it was kind of what angered me the most, lads, was he's taken me for a fool. I mean, because I believed, and I jumped in, and I just wanted to know, lads, on your reactions. You've obviously been around the game, followed your clubs for such a long time. You've been through many a manager, and you've probably seen, like Teddy Boy, Alex Neil, going across and walking out on the club. What that was like when you saw him do his press conference, mate, because I honestly felt sick, and I honestly felt like he'd taken advantage of my vulnerabilities as a Borough fan.
For me, it just stunk of... he'll say exactly the same at his next job as well. And I just feel like he's lost all credibility among football fans, at least. But mate, it's people are going to watch that press conference and think, we've heard all this before. And he's not the only one. Like you say, Alex Neil has done it as well.
Yeah.
There's plenty of managers done it. I mean, Sam Allardyce was revered at our place as soon as he got and even a sniff of the England job, he was off without any questions answered. In fact, and to be fair, I think he even left halfway through one of the pre-season friendlies to go and have a discussion with them. So, yeah, it's not great, is it? And all that Middlesbrough's got to do now is worry about Middlesbrough. They've got a good opportunity today. I mean, Oxford... They're surviving in the Championship, but you wouldn't say thriving in it.
No.
They're getting away with life in the Championship. So today is a good, a good time to play a team that's lower down in the division. Get your game going. RD Vivesh is he's in charge for the foreseeable. I don't think he's a bad guy to have in charge. To be honest with you, Ryan, he's well respected. He's a good coach. Maybe not a manager in the truest sense of the word. But, mate, great opportunity to go and get the 3 points. Forget all about the rat at Wolverhampton and you move on with your season, mate. And, let's see you back up in the Premier League and all three of us chatting with those Lion badges on next year.
Mate, I cannot wait for that. A good old trip down to Oxford United. I don't know if you've played Oxford United in recent times, Steve. It must be a long time. They've obviously come up through the ranks. Yeah. It must be a long time since you've seen down at Oxford United, but it's an interesting game. Sam Stadium. It's three sets of seating, and then the open one side behind the goal is the car park. So you don't want to park your car there if we're taking some long shots, especially with the way Middlesbrough's been shooting lately. You will be losing a front windscreen with ease. But again, I just wanted to get your thoughts, mate, on ex-managers, managers that have obviously coached at Newcastle United, gone on to different clubs, whatever it may be. We've had the saga with Isak. Obviously, you don't see him in the media, but when you see a manager go and he has to give that next press conference, how did you approach that, and how did that make you feel on certain managers that you might have felt, I don't know, that you might have brought into their philosophy, and you feel, it made me feel sick.
2020 was the last time we played Oxford.
There you go.
FA Cup, 4th round. It was a 0-0 draw at St James's Park was the last time we played them. So there we go. Anyway, how does it make you feel when it's Steve Bruce delighted and you feel sorry for the next club that he's gone to? So when he went to Blackpool, I think there was an outpouring of sympathy towards Blackpool, and then ended up with him. But I mean, big name managers leaving Newcastle to go elsewhere. Probably the one that had the effect on me was Keegan, I think. When Keegan left Newcastle because it wasn't what it said on the brochure. And then he turned up at, was it Man City or Fulham? Whichever way around it was, I remember thinking, oh, God, and we've got to play them as well. It's going to be weird and being in the dugout. And it was. And that felt as if he was cheating on Newcastle United. So it is awful. But it was a different scenario. He left because he was unhappy. He didn't leave because he was chasing another job. He didn't leave to go to another job. And that's what's happened with your club is a disgrace. I don't think he's done himself any credit. And I think football karma will serve him up by the end of the season. And I think, what would be nice if Middlesbrough came up and he got relegated. That would be just desserts. Yeah. But he's that will not have gone unnoticed in any in any job interview moving forward.
Yeah.
They will look at his track record and say, well, can we trust the guy to stay if another opportunity comes along for him, which might be bigger, better, pay more, or be your next club. So yeah, I think it's It just left a sour taste in everyone's mouth. And Donald says Keegan gave us hope. It was sad seeing him in another dugout. So yeah, 100%. But yeah, that's probably the one. That's the one that I can give you as an example.
Yeah, no, honestly, it was something, but I'm happy to be moving on now, and I think that will close the door for me. It was interesting just to see that very first press conference for him, now in charge of Wolves, and I'm going to be hate watching Wolves for the rest of the season. I tell you that. That's given me a new lease of life to watch those Premier League games. Middlesbrough, obviously, away to the Kassam Stadium. Oxford United are their opponents today. Middlesbrough in this season so far have scored 19 goals. Oxford have scored 16. It is coming off a good win, Middlesbrough, just before that international break, a 2-1 victory, where unfortunately for Oxford, they're coming off the back of two bad losses as well. One to Stoke City 3-0 and one to West Brom Albion 2-1. Middlesbrough will be going there hoping to get the 3 points with A.D. Vivesh in charge again today. And Middlesbrough will be hoping that Kim Hellberg will be appointed this week, as we have got a midweek trip to Coventry. We will cover that later in the show as well. Lads, Fulham at home, Sunderland, top of the league, you say? I mean, it's weird. It's getting weird. I honestly think today, Teddy boy, you have got the kiss of death. And what I mean by that is, no, I don't want to make out with you. I would if you, but but what I want to say is, I think you can decide the career of one Fulham manager, Marco Silva, today. If I see a big Sunderland result today at Fulham, I think he's done. I personally don't think Fulham will survive, or he will survive the outfalling of what Fulham think should be a good win against Sunderland. But mate, you're going with all the belief in the world.
Yeah, you've got to. I mean, listen, there's like I hate doing those old cliches that there's no easy games in the Premier League, but there's no easy games in the Premier League. And Craven Cottage is a proper ground that can provide a good old-fashioned atmosphere. And let's face it, Fulham, they've got no real superstars in among the team, but what they've got is a good set of steady players. They're never going to set the world alight. They're nearly always bottom half finishers. But, to their credit, they've lasted in the Premier League for quite a while now. Marco Silva's not having the best time, to be honest. But at the same time, he's not a bad coach. And, if anybody can turn them around, then I've got faith that he might be the man to do it. So today is a tough one, to be honest, for me. I don't think it's any foregone conclusion. We've had great results against the likes of Arsenal, against the likes of Chelsea, but these are the ones that can really trip you up. In this case, Steve, mind the step.
That's for you, Chris.
Sorry, Chris. These are the ones where I'll be more than happy coming away from this game with a draw. Whatever Fulham go through with Marco Silva. What's already put the kiss of death on it for him, though, is the talking about awarding him a longer contract. Yeah, like what Wolves did with their manager. So that's obviously a sign that his days are limited. They're a good organised side, though, and we're going to have our work cut out today. Make no bones about it. We've been very fortunate in the fact that the international players have all come back. Everybody seems to be absolutely fine, absolutely fit. The great thing during midweek as well is Romain Mundle played 45 minutes for the under-21s.
Yep,
as did Dennis Serkin. Great goal against Sporting Lisbon's second string, which is great for me because my boss is a Sporting Lisbon fan. Sorry, Claudio. Well, listen, it was good to see them getting back into it and getting the game time. Alderete didn't get any game time for Paraguay, or not as much as he would have wanted to because he got sent off. So he kind of he didn't get any didn't get a chance to pick up any injuries in international duty. So that's good for us. He's back into the squad. It's kind of as you were, but we're starting now to build a little bit of resilience and a little bit of depth. Regis Labrise was talking about Brian Brobby, edging towards his peak condition now. He's getting used to the Premier League a bit. He's looking sharper in training. Took a great goal. I mean, he was getting fouled twice and still managed to acrobatically turn the ball in against Arsenal. So he's like a tank, and he's built for the Premier League. I wouldn't be massively surprised to see him actually get a start today ahead of Wilson Isidore. Wow. The only thing is that's coming on the horizon, and you mentioned at the beginning, is the AFCON thing. And if this thing happens where they've got to go a week earlier than what everybody thought they were going to do, then boy, are we going to be a little bit late for that derby game. But
oh yeah,
that's miles down the road. Let's concentrate on the game of football today, and we'll see where we get from there.
The last time you guys played was in the FA Cup, obviously in 2023. Fulham, the victors on that day at home at Stadium of Light, 3-2. You're coming into the game with a total of 14 goals against Fulham's 12. The big one here is the goals against. So Sunderland only conceding 10 goals this season, where Fulham have conceded 16. So they're not shy in front of goal, is Fulham, Stevie Wraith. But honestly, mates, it's still, I think, a tough test here for Sunderland to go to Craven Cottage, and Fulham, for Marco Silva and for the sake of where Fulham are at on the table, they're going to start wanting to be picking up points pretty quickly.
I'm surprised to see Fulham below us, to be honest, because they've been a decent side in recent seasons. I mean, this is a big test for Silva. I find it rather strange that they have been talking about giving him a new deal and a new contract, and that really stinks of support from the boardroom, which is never a good thing. But it's such a tight league at the moment, and supporters of Newcastle and Sunderland at the moment having completely contrasting fortunes. But I think we're all aware that nowadays it's the same as last season. There's no middle ground in this table. There's a top and a bottom. There's no mid-table, and 2 wins jettisons you back up into the into the European contenders, and 2 defeats puts you back down amongst the relegation contenders. That's how tight it is, and this really is a dangerous fixture for Sunderland. But we've been saying that for weeks now. We've been saying this is a dangerous fixture. This is a dangerous fixture, and it's got to be difficult for Sunderland fans not to be getting carried away. But the Sunderland fans that I've spoken to over the last couple of weeks that I know are, they're pragmatic and they're realistic, and they're still saying 40 points. That's where we want to be. Obviously, they want to win the derby. But they are giving like a cautious glance at what's happening at Newcastle at the minute, because obviously we're getting our players back. The Wissa conundrum is a strange one. Eddie didn't give too much away yesterday. He's now working with the sports scientists on his pre-season. He's not training with the team. He's not training on the grass, and of course it is getting frustrating for us. But I know that the fact that the derby is still 3 weeks away just means if Newcastle find their mojo before that, it's going to make for a cracking game. But getting back to Fulham, difficult match. Somebody's mentioned in the chat, going to London, it's not easy at any time to go to London and pick up points. I think Sunderland would probably settle to go down there and get a draw. But I think what Sunderland's proved this season is you've got the capability of breaking teams down and scoring goals. You've got to fancy Sunderland to score today. It's just whether Fulham have got the bit about them to score more than Sunderland. It's probably got a draw written all over it. Grant Xhaka is the main man in the team. Is he a card away from a suspension at the minute?
Yes. So we ideally need him to pick one up
before the derby
today or the next game. Yeah. Today or the next game. He's back to the derby.
Be interesting to see what Sunderland are like when he's out the team, because he has definitely been the talisman. But I mean, I think today's game is all set for a draw, which Fulham won't be happy with, but Sunderland will be delighted with, because it keeps the run going. But yeah, hey, look, the table doesn't lie. Sunderland's sitting in 4th place, and I would imagine the bookies are going heavy on Sunderland getting something out of the game today.
Yep, I completely agree. And I think it's going to be an interesting watch, that for sure. Honestly, lads, we're going to talk about Newcastle. We've got so much to cover in this Three's a Crowd because club football is back. I cannot believe it. I want to quickly talk about, before we go on to Newcastle Man City and we preview that, and we've also got everyone's favourite cat coming up very, very soon. Teddy boy, I want to just quickly ask you, Regis Lebris was offered and given a new deal in the summer. Is it too early to be talking about giving him another new deal on the back of what has been the most impressive start to the Premier League season?
I think maybe by the end of the season, look at a longer term deal. I think it's a little bit soon right now, because it's the Premier League and the wheels could come off very, very quickly and very dramatically. But when you hear people lavishing praise on him like they are doing at this moment in time. Granit Xhaka, in particular, this week likened him to Arsene Wenger. Now, I've said for months he gives me Wenger vibes.
Yeah,
and that's a great compliment from a professional such as Granit Xhaka, who's had his pick of any managers that he's ever played for. So yeah, listen, his reputation is building. I wouldn't be massively surprised at the end of this season if we did see Regis pick up a longer term contract, because let's face it, he's earned it.
Yeah.
He's turned us into a team that's very, very difficult to beat in the best division in the world.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and I think it's been what an impressive start. And I honestly, we were talking about this off stream, weren't we, Teddy Roy? I'd be very, very surprised if this run was to continue, if the teams like PSG, even very big teams around Europe, weren't coming in for Regis and seeing if he can recreate that with a bigger budget and obviously
I don't think he could. Honestly,
no?
He's a very, very modest guy and a very, very quiet natured guy. And I just don't think it would work going into a dressing room full of superstars.
Yeah, it'd be interesting, wouldn't it? He's got carrying the name.
He's got a squad at the minute that's got no real ego about it.
Yeah.
If there was talk of Paris Saint-Germain, somebody like that looking at him, just wouldn't work, mate. There's too many big egos in a place like that. So
there you go.
I think he's at Sunderland for the long term, and with the comments from the ownership as well, it's very much they are gearing up to try and mount a challenge to get into European football, which is
incredible.
Just insane to even say those words.
Less than 12 months ago, playing Sheffield United. I can't believe it. Let's talk quickly before we get to everyone's favourite cat, Newcastle at home to Man City. A big game today if you are a Man City fan. Erling Haaland, who continues to break records, has the chance today, lads, to be the quickest player in Premier League history to score 100 goals. He just needs one goal to reach his century in the Premier League. And if you should do so this afternoon against Newcastle, the feat will have been achieved in 15 fewer appearances than any other player in the competition history. The last player to reach 100 goals in the quickest was Alan Shearer on 124 appearances. Erling Haaland has the chance to do that today in 100. It is incredible stats. This Newcastle are at home though, and I think Newcastle are a completely different beast when they're at St James's Park. Steve, let's come to you first, mate. Obviously, we're talking about Wissa. The unknown there for me, mate, is starting to be a little bit concerning on terms of how much you invested in Wissa, and obviously wanting him. Walter has had to, take the load on. But the biggest one for me, obviously, no Dan Burn today. Obviously, he'll be having the one match ban. Are you worried today that Nick can and Walter Mata to both just first name him like I'm a best mates? Are you worried that he has got a lot of workload to carry still without Wissa? And I mean, the problem now as well as we go down is Asula.
Yeah, I mean, Asula's out. He's going to see a specialist, although Eddie curbed any worries that could be meaning a long-term layoff. But he's been, some days he's been feeling fine, other days he hasn't been feeling great. So he's going to a specialist to make sure that his recovery is on track. Wissa, as I said, is seeing sports scientists, which is now his pre-season with them, and then he'll be back on the training pitch with the lads. So, Everton was the game that was mooted. Well, that's next weekend. I don't see him being back for Everton. I think they're aiming to get him back for probably the Leverkusen game, maybe he's at the earliest, and maybe Sunderland, maybe he's on the bench. But it's very concerning, really, for me that that he could literally come back and then be off to the AFCON. That would be disappointing. Baltimore obviously had a bit of criticism from fans. I mean, nobody should be exempt from criticism after the last two performances away from home. I was down at West Ham, Brentford, two awful games, and two poor performances and disappointing performances. But watching Baltimore in the in the German games this week. Three goals, and Eddie was asked at the press conference about how he plays with Voldemar. Had he seen anything in those games that could potentially be beneficial to Newcastle? Could the way that Germany play suit Newcastle, and maybe that would help him score more goals? But Eddie said, yeah, of course I watched them, but it's different opposition. It's international football, it's different club football. It's a strange scenario. I think what we need really is performances from the midfield and the wingers in particular. The wingers really need to up their game. We need to see performances from Gordon. We need to see performances from Murphy. We need to see performances from Barnes. We need performances from Alanga. And, that's what we need. We need the creativity, which we've lacked this season. And that's why we haven't scored goals. One bit of good news, from our perspective, is Tino Livramento's back. Lewis Hall came back obviously a couple of weeks ago. Livramento's back now. And I think we all know how good those players are, and they will massively boost us because it changes the dimension of the team, and maybe that is the kind of help that the wingers have needed in the first part of the season. We've also got health checks on Tonali, Joelinton, and Pope. They're all available. Joelinton, of course, got that bad challenge which we talked about last week. He's okay. Sandro Tonali got sent back from international duty. Everyone was wetting themselves over this whole thing, but we nailed it on NUFC Matters at the start of the week. It was because he's on a yellow card. They didn't want to lose him for the playoff game. So they sent him home. They didn't want him to play and get another yellow card and then be suspended for the playoff game for the World Cup. So that was the reason he was sent home. On the Man City front, all the talk was Rodri was going to be back for the game, but then Pep Guardiola's press conference yesterday confirmed that Rodri's not available. So that's a bonus. I mean, look, Man City's got a great team, and I laughed out loud when Eddie said, we've tried every single way to beat Man City and not being able to do it. He's set up defensively, he's set up counter-attacking, he's set up attacking. He just says we've tried every way, we've not been able to beat them. Let's hope we can find a way tomorrow. And I think what he will do today, I think he'll revert back to three centre halves. I think the record that Lascelles won't play today, but he'll be on the bench. But Haaland, who was chasing that goal record that you mentioned, has never scored when Shaw or Lascelles have been on the pitch.
Hello.
So Shaw, I think, will get a recall today. I think Shaw, Chow and Botman will play. Botman should count himself lucky, I think, because Burns suspended. I think Burns would have played and I think Botman would have been rested. But I think those are the three centre-halves he play. I think he'll play Lewis Hall on the left. I think he'll play Trippier on the right. Even though there's a clamour amongst our supporters for Ramsdale to be included in the team, I think Pope will keep his place in the team. I think he'll go with the usual three in the midfield. I think he'll go Joelinton, Tonali and Bruno. I think on the left, Barnes will be dropping, Gordon will be back. I think he'll play Jacob Murphy on the right, and I think he'll play Voldemort up front because he's got no other option.
Wow. Yeah. No, it's going to be interesting to watch this one for me, and especially at home. At St. James's Park, you seem to be a completely different beast. It seems to be the away troubles more than anything, rather than being at worries at St. James's Park.
Haven't played well at home, We haven't played well at home. I mean, the results have been good, but narrow wins against teams which are struggling. Fulham, Wolves, they weren't pretty. They weren't good games. And that's the concern, I guess, for Newcastle fans. There has been spells. Barcelona, when Newcastle lost 2-1, there was a 60-minute spell in that game. Newcastle were brilliant, but we beat Wolves 1-0. Voldemort got the goal. Liverpool game, of course, we lost that game. But that game was everyone watched it, so it was brilliant, and it was. It was a really good game. But the Arsenal game, we didn't play well. Forest, who were struggling at the time, if you remember, we won that game 2-0. Voldemort got a penalty, but again, it wasn't pretty. We struggled past, and Fulham, we beat them 2-1. They're not. It's not like Newcastle knocking everybody out of sight. Even Spurs in that game, we beat them 2-0, and they weren't playing particularly well at the time. So we've come up short in the last couple of away games. Obviously, we beat Bilbao in the Champions League. This is a huge test for Newcastle. They are capable of getting a result today, so I'm not going to say I have backed Newcastle to get beat today. I do feel Newcastle will lose the game today. I think they'll put up a good fight. My money is that they'll beat Marseille on Tuesday, which will be a hell of a result in the Champions League, which will take them through to the next stage, more or less through to the next stage. And I think we will get a win at Everton. I think we'll win at Everton, which sets us up nicely then for a couple of home games. We've got then Spurs at home, Burnley at home, and then we're away to Leverkusen and then away to Sunderland. So I'd like to get that proverbial monkey off our back with the away fixtures with Everton. To be honest, I wouldn't want to have to go to Sunderland still not having won away. That would be my end. But today, tough game.
Would you?
Yeah, I think Newcastle. Well, yeah, I would like to see us. I would like to see us win away before we go that. And that's it. Yeah, but I genuinely think Newcastle will go for a defensive lineup today, and I wouldn't. You know, and they won't be focused on Haaland because they've got too many good players. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's going to be an interesting watch. Just quickly, lads, before we get to everyone's favourite cat on the keyboard, I've got a question here from Graham who asks, is Wissa intentionally being delayed so he doesn't go to AFCON? Ted, do you think that there's any... I mean, I can see where fans would be coming from in this region, but I think if Wissa's fit, you would be playing him.
Yeah, I don't know how much of a say the club would get in that, but... Yeah, listen, it's an interesting theory because it's going to be very much squeaky bum time if he does just say get fit, and then he's got to go and play a tournament, which anything can happen in those. They are, pardon the expression, rough-ass tournaments over there. There's some nasty challenges going all the time, and yeah, listen, I'd be a bit concerned. So maybe a little bit of dark arts from Newcastle and just kind of maybe just having a quiet word with the physios just to slow down that recovery time. One thing I did want to ask Steve though, just before we went into the cut, obviously in the lineup today, or certainly on the bench for Man City, will be James Trafford, who's obviously found himself down the pecking order compared to where he thought he was going to be. He must be absolutely fuming when he went to Man City, and then all of a sudden they're going by Donnarumma as well, who's one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Is there any chance, do you reckon, Newcastle would go back in for Trafford at the end of this season, Steve?
I mean, there's already transfer talk. Barry Hogan's in the chat. He sends me a list intermittently with who Newcastle have been linked with, just really for us to talk about it on NUFC Matters. And it really does look, it really does look like Newcastle are still scoping them and still tracking them and seeing what they could do. I don't know. Really, I mean, today's an interesting one. If Eddie Howe plays Ramsdale instead of Pope, then that may suggest that he is thinking about. Yeah, exactly. He's shopping, and that's the way to look at it. I still think he fancies Trafford. I mean, and I'm sure he still fancies bringing in another. Maybe he's Mark Gahey. I still that's the thing with Eddie. Once he makes his mind up on a player and he gets a knockback, he still keeps an eye on them and still monitors them. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, mate, if Newcastle are still monitoring Trafford and go back in for him, because you do need two good keepers. And let's remember, Ramsdale's on loan. Somebody made the point on NUFC Matters this week that if Ramsdale doesn't get game time, is he going to really want to stay? I mean, he seems happy. He seems really happy. And he's playing the Carabao Cup. He could end up with a cup final at Wembley. But yeah, it's a strange scenario. It's a strange scenario at the minute. But I wouldn't be surprised, mate, to answer your question.
Yeah, very interesting. It's going to be one to watch. Lads, we have reached the halfway point of Three's a Crowd. So it is time to sit back, relax, have a chuckle. It's time for All of the Week.
Christmas is on its way, lads, and non-football related tweets to start with. This one, as the weather is getting colder, make sure to ask your every delivery driver if he'd like a hot drink. When he says yes, kick it over the fence into your neighbour's garden and tell him you've left it in the designated safe space. Great advice, great advice. And temperature, lads. Temperature is a big thing, of course, in the northeast. 10 degrees, the southerners begin to evacuate. Geordies go swimming in the North Sea. 0 degrees, southern landlords turn up the heat. Geordies have the last barbecue before it gets cold. Minus 10 degrees, southerners cease to exist. Geordies throw on a lightweight jacket. Minus 80 degrees, polar bears wonder if it's worth it. Geordie boys scouts start wearing long trousers. And minus 100 degrees, Santa Claus abandons the North Pole. Geordies put on their long johns. And minus 173 degrees, alcohol freezes. Geordies become frustrated because the pubs are shut. Thought you'd like that one. And girlfriend, how is this a Christmas film? Me? Are you stupid? Hot as a snow planet. A great argument about what is a Christmas film. I do enjoy that every year. I've I've been shopping as well, getting the turkey and stuff in, lads, and some sausages on sticks and that kind of stuff. And I got some of this, lads. I don't know whether you fancy some next time you're on mine. Hey. Okay, trolls. There's a nasty troll that lurks in an ex-footballer's chat. Yes, here he is, Ted the Mackham. Not so poo-poo after all, are we, you mug? Yes, this long running thing continues between Ted and Jermaine Pennant. Jermaine Pennant obviously lost for words, just puts laughing emojis this time. This is definitely
because he's illiterate.
This is to be continued. Remember the good old days, lads, when this was your only problem in life? The ball getting stuck under a car. Yep, me too. And football talk. The Switzerland women's national team, ranked 23rd in the world, lost 7-1 in a friendly match against Leuzen's under-15 boys team. I loved Marty N replies. I believe in equal pay in football. That's why I think under-15 boys should earn the same as a professional woman player. Great photo, this. Great photo. Check the young lad out behind the lass. It's a young Hearts fan on his way back from the match. I'm not sure whether he's checking out that last day, whether he's just disappointed at the result. Sunderland's rise up the Premier League table and Newcastle's stuttering start to the season hasn't gone unnoticed on I'm a Celebrity in this country either. Keel Tulloch puts, no joke about Sunderland from Anton Deck yet on I'm a Celeb. I wonder why. We're so back and the Geordies hate it. No Magpie Bar going to be at the Stadium of Light for the derby, but good to see Sunderland are getting some new signage up, and Football Away Days have noticed it. The new signage going up at the Stadium of Light, I'm sure it'll look class once it's finished. It's very similar to Newcastle's at St James's Park. Yeah,
get away!
It is the copycat. Troll of the week, though, this week has to give a special mention to Scotland, who got to the World Cup for the first time in donkeys, and there was been absolutely brilliant tweets this week. Henry Winter, book fast at Tiffany's. And I said, what about Buckfast at Tierney's? Says Alan Smith. Brilliant. And yes, I've never been to America, but I've been in a few states. And the headline, the best headline from all of this was this one. Donald, where's your booze? Excellent, that. And Ray Bradshaw said the travel insurance for 43-year-old Craig Gordon at the World Cup might bankrupt us. And we're going to finish off with this one. This one wins by a country mile. Scotland fans currently going through more tenants than Fred and Rose. That is it for this week. If you've got any tweets, please get them over to the lads at their various email addresses or social media accounts. But you can email me because I'll load them onto the system. nufcmatterspodcast1892@gmail.com. Get them over and I will pick my way through them and stick them on next week.
Oh, welcome on back to Three's a Crowd, the only Northeast football podcast where we talk Newcastle, Middlesbrough and Sunderland. Normal rivals, but we bring it together for a bit of laugh, bit of banter. We have talked about the games that are happening today. We're going to get the lads' predictions very soon. But lads, we have to just quickly touch on that international week that was incredibly seeing Scotland get back into the World Cup. I mean, it's incredible to see. But the one thing that got me absolutely just blew me away was that Scotland fans actually shook the earth in their celebration wins over Denmark. Yes, that's right. They caused a mini earthquake. Such was the celebrations when they got past Denmark. Lads, what is the loudest game you have ever been a part of is what I want to know. You guys in the chat as well, I want you to have a think about it. I wanted you to tell me what is the loudest game you have been at, whether it's football, cricket, which Australia won today. Sorry about that. If there's any other sporting event you might have been at where you've seen the crowd just off its chops. Now, one thing I'm going to have to say for me is the AFL Grand Final. I went to the AFL Grand Final in 2017. 102,000 people packed into the MCG, Melbourne Cricket Ground, for this, and it was absolutely incredible. I saw the Killers playing live to kick it off. My team on the day absolutely lost and stunk the house out. I went and cried as I left the stadium, but it was incredible, to the point again there where the majority of the fans in that stadium, I'd say 70 80,000 of them were the opposition fans, and it was incredible reception. But Teddy boy, let's come to you. What's the loudest event you think you've been to? It could be a concert as well, mate, where the fans were just unreal. I mean, Scotland fans causing a mini earthquake, mate, would be something to be pretty special to be a part of.
Must have all dropped their GI row at the same time. Apologies to the Scots watching. The loudest event. Right, I'll give you a gig and a couple of games then. Foo Fighters at the Stadium of Light was just an absolutely incredible experience. Love the Foo Fighters anyway, my favourite band. And that just took the roof off the place. It was absolutely incredible. Atmosphere-wise, everybody's singing. It was just one of those gigs where you didn't just hear it, it just vibrated through your actual soul, you know. Just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Game-wise, the loudest at the Stadium of Light, I still go back to the playoff semi-final against Sheffield United. Back in the day, the one before we went and got beat by Charlton by penalties. God, what was that? 1998 or something like that, I think. Anyway, yeah. So the atmosphere in that was absolutely terrifically loud. The other one, I was fortunate enough to go to a Six Nations game. It was actually Wales versus Italy. This is years and years ago, and hearing the Welsh national anthem before the game. Is not just loud, it's just something that you never, ever forget. That was just like, for atmosphere and feeling and the volume of singing, absolutely incredible. So yeah, that's probably my top three.
Some that just stick with you for the rest of your life, these sorts of results. I mean, some from people in the chat saying Borough versus Newcastle FA Cup when Ravanelli scored. My God, imagine being there for that one. I mean, obviously, the Massimo Macarone goal as well. Borough v Chelsea at Wembley final. It was chaos in both in and out of the stadium. The Wembley Carabao Cup win for Newcastle fan here. The derby when Newcastle won 5-1. Jeez, the full game equals Barker. The incident equals Shearer, and the goal-breaking Milburn's record for some of those results. Steve, do you remember a game that just stays with you for being so loud and so unbelievably crazy?
Les obviously mentions the Barca, Shearer's goal, breaking Milburn's record. I mean, I can add to that. Andy Cole breaking Hughie Gallagher's record, which was 41 goals in a season. That was electric because that record was held since 1927. So that was as big as Shearer's. Shearer's testimonial. That was a huge atmosphere. And of course, my very first game as a Newcastle fan was Kevin Keegan's last, which was 1984, friendly against Liverpool. After Zayn Kev 2-2 when he took off in the helicopter. That was an electric atmosphere as well. Manchester United 5-0. The war when Philip Albert chipped the ball over Schmeichel, because that was like vindication after getting hammered in the Charity Shield 4-0. And you know, Roger Cooch mentioned it in the chat. The game at Wembley last season, you know, winning our first trophy in 70 years. I don't remember much about noise. It was more about tears. I think everybody was crying. You know, it was more about like a collective.
I was.
Crying. You were, yeah. There's been some great days and some great goals, and you know that's what makes it special. Those days, you know, great stuff. Beating Arsenal 2-0. Yeah, the very first semi-final when Longstaff scored, we got through to the first Carabao Cup final we lost. That was big atmosphere. But yeah, there's certain games that stand out. But if I had to pick one. For some reason, the Andy Cole goal has always stuck with us, and I always feel that raw and Shearer's testimonial, because I think that was the first time we all got encouraged to take. We all got a Shearer testimonial scarf. I think that was the very first time we'd ever done a scarves thing at the ground, and it was electric. So those two memories probably stand out. Yeah.
No, incredible. And obviously, congratulations if you are Scottish in the chat for qualifying for the World Cup. That was an electric result, and what What a moment for all of Scotland to get back into the World Cup. And our very own Tommy Conway at Middlesbrough will be hoping to get back into that squad as well. I spoke to him midweek, and that's his goal now as well, so especially. Let's get into the rest of the football fixtures, lads. We have to go back around the grounds and get some of these lads' predictions. You can join in the chat as well by joining in with the predictions. We're going to start off with Middlesbrough's trip to Oxford United this afternoon, kicking off at 3 p.m. It's a tough old game for Middlesbrough without a manager. Adi Vivesh will be taking charge of the club. It's interesting to see what team he'll be going with. We haven't really gotten any indication of who's fit and who's not fit, because all the reporters yesterday spent all the time asking about Rob Edwards, which was fantastic because we didn't actually learn anything about the Oxford game. But so we don't actually know who's fit or not because they were too busy speaking about Rob Edwards. But I think our team's fully fit. I think there's a few players that have come back from international break. Okay, I don't know again because all I heard about was Rob Edwards. But look, Middlesbrough going into this game with the utmost confidence coming off the back of that win at Birmingham. We hope Matty Targett is back and fit. He came off injured in that Birmingham win. He's had to have 3 injections in his foot, lads, Matty Targett. He's an absolute warrior, that lad. He's been playing with broken bones in his foot, and he's still been running out there, and he's just had injections in there to ease the pain. We know that Edmondson is still out. We know that Darragh Lenihan is still out. Dale Fry, we hope, will be back. And then it'll be interesting to see whether David Strelic can return to the lineup, our $8.5 million striker who hasn't really hit the ground running here in Middlesbrough. He did play for Slovakia in that 5-0 loss to Germany midweek. So he's got to pick up and try and get some goals in the championship to try and hold on to his starting place. But again, Tommy Conway will be knocking at that door, especially now with Scotland. Scotland qualifying. He'll be wanting to, show Scotland that he can perform at all levels. Lads, let's get some predictions. Come to you first, Teddy boy. Oxford versus Middlesbrough, mate. Away from home. Middlesbrough looking for 3 points under AD Vivesh.
Well, to use a bit of a pun, I think Oxford are going to get a bit of an education from Middlesbrough in this one. I can see a quite an easy win. I can't see you keeping a clean sheet, though. I don't think you're there yet. But 3-1 win for the Borough today, I think, mate.
I'm going to go a 4-1 win. I'd written down a 4-1 win. I think we're going to really put it to sword. And I honestly think Tommy Conway, now that Scotland have qualified for the World Cup, is really going to turn it up because he's going to want to be in that place. Steve, Oxford away for Middlesbrough today, mate. Predictions?
I just want to ask you about Rob Edwards, really.
Oh, I freaking couldn't believe it, mate. I don't know who's injured, who's fit. I don't even know if we're playing Oxford because all we spoke about was this bloody Wolves manager.
Honestly, with this game, it's Borough's Jekyll and Hyde. They have been a bit Jekyll and you wonder whether a lot of it's been to do with the managerial situation because they will have known that he was getting unsettled beforehand, wouldn't they? But you've managed to maintain your position in second place in the league. Oxford are 21st, I think it is. They're not in a great position. I think Borough will give them a shellacking today. So I'm going to go for a 4-0, mate.
Oh, I like that. Lads, on to
all
Sunderland.
3 of us have gone for a win.
Yeah, oh my God, no, I'm scared. Sunderland, I'm going to do the same here now. I'm going to have to put the curse on you. Sunderland are away to Fulham. It's going to be a tough old trip down to London, but Sunderland will have nothing to fear, sitting 4th in the league. And obviously, the goals are absolutely flowing. Granit Xhaka, as we said, is 1 yellow card away from a suspension. Will he get that today to be there for the derby? You would hope so, Sunderland fans, or will he keep his nose out of the referee's book? We'll have to wait and see. I'm going to go here for a 2-2. I just think both teams are easily going to be up for this one. I think Fulham are going to obviously trying to secure Marco Silva and trying to get some points, but I think Sunderland are going to easily be able to score against them the way they're travelling as well. Over to you, Teddy, my Mr. Mackems. Fulham at home for your mighty Mackems, mate. They have nothing to fear. 4th in the league. How are we going to go against Fulham?
Same as we have done all along, mate. I think we stick to our own game. We don't do anything special for this one. We go there, try to be organised. These can be the banana skin games, but I think we'll overcome the test. I don't fancy a win. I think I just have a feel of a 1s each, a 1-1 draw, and I'll take that all day long. Be more than happy with that.
Ooh, Stevie lad. Fulham at home to your favourite Sunderland. Honestly, it's going to be a tough old test for any team to go down to London, but at the moment, you'd be licking your lips to be versing at Fulham and the way they've been playing.
Yeah, I mean, this is the draw though for me. I've said that before. I think this will be a tougher test for Fulham than it will be for Sunderland. I think Sunderland are a reformed team, and they'll go down there with their confidence sky high, and with Xhaka still, ploughing that furrow in the midfield. I think he leads by example. So I think Sunderland will get something out of the game. I'm going to go for a 2-2.
And I want to get a quick bet on from you lads. Obviously, we're not officially betting here or anything, no gambling. But I want to know, lads, will Granit Xhaka get a yellow card today? Yes or no, Ted?
Yes.
I'm saying yes as well, Steve.
Yeah. Who do you play next week? Who do you play next week?
Next week we have Bournemouth at home.
You have Bournemouth at home. Yeah.
You play Liverpool
away.
You play Liverpool, right? So that's so it won't be the yellow card this week. He'll get booked next week.
Oh, you'll miss the Liverpool game.
He doesn't want to play. He won't want to play against Liverpool. He'll get
okay. There you go.
He'll miss next week. He'll miss next week.
Big banter. We love it. Righto, Newcastle at home to Man City. As I said just before, Erling Haaland is 1 goal away from reaching the fastest century of goals in the Premier League. If he scores 1 goal today, he will have reached 100 goals in the Premier League, fastest player ever to do so. I am scared for you today, Steve. I just don't know, Steve. I just don't know, okay? One, I don't know about my team because you speak about Rob Edwards, and two, I don't know about your team because we had the West Ham, and I watched that, right, at 4 a.m. in the morning, and I was like, whoa, what's going on here? So I'm going to have to go with the Man City 1-0 win on this one because I just think Erling Haaland's going to get that goal today. But I'll tell you what, it's going to be interesting to see if Newcastle can bounce back, and I honestly trust you more at home. I know you're saying that the performances, I just think that St. James's crowd won't let a bad performance go without some serious chanting. Teddy boy, Newcastle United at home, Man City, Erling Haaland, 1 goal away from 100 in the Premier League. How do you see this one playing out, good sir?
Do you know what? I don't think this is a foregone conclusion, this one. I think Haaland will get on the score sheet because he's just been an absolute animal this season. But Man City aren't all that great at the back as well. They're conceding the leaking goals where they normally wouldn't. I'm actually going to go for a draw for this one as well. And I'm going to go for a Desmond 2-2 for this one. I can see an entertaining 2-2 draw. I'll be in the pub. I'll be cheering on Man City. Charlie will be cheering on Newcastle. And we'll all have a nice time.
That's not going to happen. Lads, over to you, Steve. Newcastle at home to Man City. You've already given us a result, mate, but I want to lock it into stone. How will Newcastle fare today against Man City?
Hi, Rob. Yeah.
Yep.
Me and Rob Edwards both think that it's going to be a 2-1 win for Man City.
Yeah. I'm surprised.
I can't see Newcastle winning this.
I didn't know you spoke snake from Harry Potter. That's incredible. That's that snake language. That's incredible. There. Hope you're well, Rob.
Slither in the podcast somehow.
We have got some midweek games to get onto as well. We have got Middlesbrough at home to Coventry, lads. If all the results stay the same today, Middlesbrough will be second, Coventry will be first, going for a midweek game. Middlesbrough taking on Coventry at home, a game I was meant to be at as well. Oh my God, this week's going to be tough. But Middlesbrough at home to Coventry. We think our Swedish manager, Kim Hellberg, will be in charge for that one. We still don't know, though. Coventry in first. Frankie Lampard has got these blokes absolutely flying. They are scoring goals for fun. At home, though, Middlesbrough hope to keep this one. I'm going to go for a cheeky 1-1 draw in this one because it's going to just be so tough and it's going to be so much pressure on the lads. But it's going to be at the Riverside, and I hope that we can make it a bit of a fortress. Teddy boy, midweek game, first v second if results go our way today. Coventry versus Middlesbrough. How do you see that one playing out, good sir?
Midweek, under the lights, Steve.
Under the lights. Steve loves it under the lights.
He loves under the lights. And on the grass.
I hate it.
I know. Yeah, listen, this is an early indicator of who's going to actually win the championship this season, mate. I just fancy Borough. I really do. Maybe
That's why I love you.
I hate Coventry more than I'll ever hate Middlesbrough. So it's more out of desperation and really, really wanting Borough to stick one on Coventry. To be honest, no degree of humiliation can be enough for Coventry. I hope you beat them 9-0.
If we could borrow Dan Ballard and his beautiful head, that'd be perfect for this midweek game. I tell you,
I'll go for 2-0 to Borough. But,
2-0?
I'm hoping for 9.
All right, love it. Steve, obviously midweek game, if it does stay the same, first v second, commentary coming up to Middlesbrough. How do you see that one playing out, sir?
To be honest, I think this will be a draw. It'll be a big tribute to my old friend, Jimmy Hill. I think with Jimmy, he's always looking down on Coventry and obviously looks down on Sunderland as well. But yeah, the Jimmy Hill game, I think it'll be.
What am I doing this week?
I think it'll be a 2-2 draw.
Mate, could cut a cheesecake with that chin of his, I tell you. Lads, then we've got to talk about Marseille at home, obviously, to Newcastle. It's a Champions League fixture midweek for Newcastle. This is a tough test. Marseille are no pushover. I do fancy a chances here, though, because it's honestly going to secure the next stage of Champions League for Newcastle. I just think they're up and about for this. Newcastle sitting 6th in the Champions League. Marseille are relishing down in 25th. They have lost their last 2. Newcastle have obviously won their last 3. Steve, I'll come to you first for this one, mate. It's a massive midweek game, and I don't know if today's fixture against Man City is maybe taken into control of how important this midweek game could be for Newcastle to get into that next stage. Yeah,
I think Newcastle will be firing on all cylinders regardless of today's result for that Marseille game. One win takes them into the next stage. It's financially massively important, but it's a great opportunity for Newcastle to push on and experience the next stage of the Champions League. Do you rest anyone today in line for that? I don't think so. No. They've had enough time off. Some of the players didn't go on international duty either. But as Les says, Marseille did win 5-1 last night. So they're well up for it. But I just got a feeling Newcastle will go there and they'll put in one of those performances, a dogged performance. I've got a fancy for Newcastle to win 1-0 out in Marseille, but I think it'll be a hard-earned game with Newcastle maybe under the cosh at times. But I do think they'll win there. I think they'll get a win at Marseille, and that'll put us on 12 points, which incredible. That was good enough to go through last year. And with a trip to Leverkusen after that, a draw would be good enough maybe just to cement that place. But yeah, I think we'll win. I think it'll be a close one, but I think it'll be a 1-0 win. Teddy boy, midweek under the lights. Good sir. Marseille at home to Newcastle United, mate. How do you see that one playing out?
Well, it says here they got a nice win last night. No, they got a win against Nice last night. 5-1. They've got some quality players in their squad. I know. Thank you very much. It didn't take me long to figure that one out. They've got some good players in the squad, to be honest with you, mate. Aubameyang's there now. Mason Greenwood, for all his troubles, he is a talented player. Get this Timothy Weah, relative of the absolutely fantastic George Weah, is in the squad as well. They've got a little bit of quality about them. And listen, I think the Geordies will get a draw here, but Marseille might just be the little surprise package. It might just be a little reminder that, don't get me wrong, Newcastle have done fantastically well in Europe so far. But this might just be the little jolt that kind of go, just watch yourselves, kind of just be on your guard. There is some quality in among that competition. So yeah, listen, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw away at Marseille. I fully expect Newcastle to go through though, no problem.
Yeah, it's going to be an incredible week. I can't believe club football is here to stay, lads. Internationals are well behind us into the World Cup next year. Before we finish off here on Three's a Card, which has been another fantastic pod, thank you so much for over 300 of you tuning in and listening and watching. We do appreciate all the love and support of you guys hanging out with us each weekend, watching us and supporting us. You can find the podcast, which will be live on Spotify. Straight after this, it'll be under Three's a Crowd or under NUFC Matters, but you can also go to NUFC Matters at Invictus or at Ted the Mackem to watch it live here on YouTube. I want to get a cheeky prediction from you, my little boys, my little pommies. Hey, the Ashes, Australia are holding this one 1-0, lads. And we've got 4 more Ashes games to be played. I want to get a prediction from you now. I mean, I was you must have been working. I mean, it's the rudest waking up you've ever had with head Do you know what I mean? I would have to say, because Travis Head has scored 123 runs today. And I mean, if you woke up stark naked because Stark took an absolute screamer of a catch today. So lads, give me your predictions in the chat. How is the Ashes going to go? How are you going to fit? How's it? Australia 1-0 up. Give me a prediction, Teddy boy.
Probably more ball tampering from the cheating Aussies.
Sandpaper, baby!
Yeah. No wonder you're all bloody criminals. No, I think England will roar back. This one's going to hurt. It was poor quality. It was like Lowfell versus Riot. This, and that's no disrespect against Lowfell and Riot. Awful cricket, basically. But England will roar back, mate, and we're going to win the series 3-2. Don't you worry about that.
Stevie Wraith?
We're going to get hammered. 5-0. It's not looking good at all. That collapse, two collapses in the baton were absolutely disgraceful. The only saving grace we've got is we have got some good bowlers, but we all know what it's like. The pitches in Australia, they're all dry as sticks after 2 days, and it's not pretty at all. And,
well, the sand are dropping out the bowlers' pockets, Steve.
It's all the sand that they've had away from their feet when they've been sent over there on the boat. It's embarrassing. It really is. I mean, a test match finished after 2 days. Jesus Christ!
Wow.
But never mind. Never mind. There's worse things happen at sea.
That is all we got time for here on Three's a Crowd. We have covered all of the games. If you want to go back and watch and get all the lads' predictions, if you are travelling away today, Middlesbrough fans or Sunderland fans, please travel safe. Enjoy your away game. Those going to St James's Park, cheer loudly. Enjoy your matches. We'll be back next week to look over those results and also previewing the next round of fixtures. As always, Ted, thank you so much for joining me.
Away, lads!
Away, and Stevie, thank you so much for coming in, mate, after your gym session.
Three's a Crowd podcast will return. That's not a threat, it's a promise.